I'm Ron and I'm back again, you know already, with another RSR Classic, the penultimate RSR Classic of quarantine content. Tonight, I will be reviewing Toronto FC versus Chivas USA from September 21st, 2014. Toronto FC wins 3-0 in Greg Vanney's first win as manager of Toronto FC. It's amazing. It's amazing. We're stepping back into the wormhole again, and we're going to talk about a big moment in this club's turnaround and climb to the top. Ironically, against the feeder club of the team that beat us in the Champions League and the sort of first version of LAFC, because they got stopped playing, then they turned into LAFC, or they took that spot and gave it to LAFC, so they have connections. You know what it means. You know what it is. Hard to explain, but yeah. So, first, in the 23rd minute, Zavaleta has the ball for Chivas USA. Yes, he played for Chivas USA in this game. I know, crazy, but he still pulls regular Eric Zavaleta stuff. He gets ran by Jonathan Osorio. Jonathan Osorio picks his pocket, picks up the ball, pops it to Gilberto. Gilberto backheels it to Jackson. Jackson shoots it, deflects off a Chivas USA defender, but it goes in 1-0 Toronto FC. Then 45 plus 2 in stoppage time. Michael Bradley has a corner kick. It goes into the box. Mark Bloom centers it for Luke Moore. Luke Moore just runs into it and pops it in. 2-0 TFC. Then in the 54th minute, another corner kick for Toronto FC and Michael Bradley. Michael Bradley delivers it. It basically runs through the whole box, the whole 18-yard box, gets to Gilberto at the far post, I guess. Yeah, the far post, because Bradley was taking it over there. The far post gets to Gilberto. Gilberto is not marked. He makes a perfect run, and he slots it in. Perfect. 3-0 for TFC. Then in the 66th minute, like 20 seconds before, there was a foul on Jackson that wasn't called, and he got mad. Rio Coker fouls him again, and they just start pushing and shoving. Not really a fight, per se. Not what you would call a fight in Toronto standards or hockey standards, even though it's football. But you get my point. This is not what we would call a fight in a sports match. Football, hockey, whatever you want to call it, or whatever you want to choose. This is not a fight. They were pushing and shoving. The referee sends both off with a straight red card. 66th minute, Jackson and Nigel Rio Coker both get sent off. But the game would finish, each side with 10 men. Toronto wins 3-0. Amazing game by Toronto FC. They played well defensively. They played well offensively. Great offense by Toronto FC. And that shows you this game, back when it happened, and even now, it shows you what this team was starting to be capable of under Greg Vanney. For all the flack that a lot of us give him, and I'm not going to say that I should absolve myself, because I've given him a lot of flack, especially last year during that 9-game winless run. I gave him a lot of flack, and hell, I still gave him a lot of flack throughout the winning run, throughout them winning all those games, throughout them getting to the playoffs like they did. Columbus, look at that video that I made back last year when I went to Columbus. Look at that video. Am I wrong for being angry like I was about a 2-2 draw? Looking back at it on hindsight, in hindsight, honestly, I was probably wrong to like be Tranquil Fury, because if you watch that video, I didn't scream, but I did rip up a piece of paper and throw it up in the air, tapping a pen. That I probably would never do that again, considering I have a desk in front of me instead of me just pulled up to a desk. You know what I'm saying? Like, pulled up to a desk. I'm not that close. I mean, I guess I could tap a pen on there, but I'm not going to stretch out my arm and look like a weirdo to tap a pen. Or I guess I could tap the chair sides. But here, I don't have to be Tranquil Fury, or at least a lot less Tranquil Fury than I was in that hotel room, considering it was a hotel room in Columbus. But, yeah, should I have been mad at that game? No, in hindsight, not at all. Should we give Vanny flack? I mean, he does make mistakes. He's not perfect. He's no Jurgen Klopp. He's no Maurizio Sarri. He's no Antonio Conte, but he makes mistakes. So give him flack? Maybe. It isn't the worst idea, but only when he deserves it. This game showed you what Toronto FC was capable of as time went on with him. And he has been amazing. 100 wins. Sitting on 100 wins going into the Orlando tournament. This was number one over 5 years. And definitely our longest serving manager without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Hell, put him or put anybody else in his spot if he ever leaves. I don't even think anybody after him could match the amount of time that Greg Vanny has been manager here. It is what it is. Greg Vanny has done amazing with this club. He has done amazing. Has he screwed up? Yes. Has the team failed him sometimes? Yes. Is he does he have horrible selections sometimes, especially when he rotates? And the fact we've lost the ability to win with a rotated lineup? Yes. But considering all he's done for this club, you can't be 100% perfect, but he's damn near close. At least in this league, per se. He's done amazing with his club. In his first win. I know it was against Chivas USA. They were the worst team in the league at that point. But to get that win, a dominating win, in your first win as manager at home at BMO Field, what more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? That was amazing. That was an amazing performance by a team who was hungry and still fighting for every inch to try to get into the playoffs that year. And 2014, Ryan Nelson put him into a hole. That is for certain. Greg Vanny tried to get them out. Because this game was a week before that Portland game I covered a couple of weeks ago. 2 straight wins out of those first 2 games for Greg Vanny. Everything looked amazing. They were fighting for every inch, every point they could get. And I know there's something called the new manager bounce, but this team tried to fight to get into the playoffs. They didn't quit on Vanny. They didn't quit on anybody. They did not quit on themselves. To win like that against Chivas and then the next week come back like they did against Portland, amazing. That was an amazing run by TFC in there at the end of that season with Greg Vanny as manager. And that should have shown you what they were capable of. And then the next year, getting Javinko and Altidore, getting rid of Defoe, sadly getting rid of Gilberto, and Dero retiring. 2015 was even better. And the game that we're talking about showed you that potential. Showed you that potential that TFC had. And honestly, they overshot that potential. They broke that ceiling in 2015. They broke that ceiling in 2016. And they are flying so high. And it is amazing to see what this club used to be to what it is now. Thinking from 2007, then to 2014, then to now. It's amazing to be able to see how this club has grown from day one. I love it, and I would not change it for the world. I would not change it for the world. And to see this game again, see Greg Vanney's first win out of 100. Out of 100. At that point, if you would have told 14-year-old me that the manager we had just installed gets 100 wins within 5 years, I would have called you nuts. I would have called you crazy. But guess what? Here we are. 5 years later. Actually, well, 5 finished. This is the 6th. Well, 14 wasn't a full season. It was like a month. But 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 5 full seasons, and then add those two together, like this one and 14, you got 6. So 6, 5, 6, whatever you want to call it, it is what it is. But over 5 full seasons and another half of a season, 100 wins, 100 wins for Greg Vanney, a brand new manager, new. Completely new to MLS. Yes, he was an assistant to Robin Fraser, but he was a brand new manager. Was a great defender and a great assistant, but he's been a great manager as well. So, let's finish that there. Yes, this is basically just waxing lyrical, mostly about Greg Vanney. I get that, but this was his first win out of 100. Sitting on 100 going into this tournament. It's amazing. You never would have thought when this happened. Never. Never in a million years. And here we are now. It's amazing. It's amazing, and I love it. I've loved every second of it. I'm sure you have too. It's amazing. So, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell all your friends. Tomorrow, I'm making a video about Richie Larea and Marky Delgado re-signing. Or is it Mark now? Because he's been spelling it Mark. Everybody else has. I don't know. Second of all, next week, this time next week, I will be doing the final RSR Classic of quarantine content, which would be Toronto FC versus Sporting Kansas City, or Sporting Kansas City versus Toronto FC on July 7th of 2018, a game that I went to, so I have a lot of memories for it. So let's finish this off with some memories, you know? And then, throughout the MLS's back tournament, and even a little bit before, I will be making 19 videos if Toronto makes the final. But let's be honest, I think we all know they will. 19 videos through a month of football. And then, there's also the Champions League finishing and the Europa League finishing after that. So, I got a couple of videos after that as well. And then, we'll see what happens with them trying to bring back the full-on regular season of MLS. But that's the blueprint for the next couple of months. And Tuesday, the last day of July, I will also be doing a video about the best youth players in MLS, the best young players in MLS right now. Not a list, but just like highlighting some players, like rookies and young players. You get the point. So, I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace. See you later.